Okay. Okay, you want me to begin?
Yes, I've been asked that I can explain and give some words for mobility strategy, the holistic one. We live in Zurich since a lot of decades. So one of the overall part, one of the most famous thing about our holistic plan about Zurich is, of course, the audience, of course, the citizens. They can vote for or fees us. They have the possibility to make a referendum. So that's one of the key part. The audience, like the citizens, the voters, they are also on the left and on the right side. That's one of the key topic in Zurich. For example, many years ago, 40 years ago, we like to do from the government, we like to do an underground, and the citizens said no to us. A few years later, the citizen came to us and said, you have to spend 200,000 euros to promote public transport. So they say us when we do too much or too little. So you can say it's like at the highway, it's the right and the left side. So they say in which part we can move. So a second thing is you don't have you have to have a target or like different goals in the end. And we have in Zurich we have 3 departments who works with traffic or with mobility. So they have speak together and they have to have every time the same decision, or they have to do a compromise to get to this target. First of all, they do together a strategy, and second, they do a lot of projects to get to this target. The third thing is, and that's the project thing, the project view, we don't do or we can't do some big stuff. We can't do undergrounds, like in the example before. We can't do that. We have to do a lot of little projects to follow the strategy. So that's also a very famous part in Zurich. You can see a lot of changing in big things like new tramways or undergrounds. You can see a lot of very little things, like we saw also on the trip we had, round trip. We saw that there are a lot of little construction places in Zurich. There is a bit of this, a bit of this. So that's what I mean about this. And all these projects follow the strategy, the one and only strategy we have. And then we have to think about what these citizens has to know. They have to know every year or every period, they have to know what we have done and on which level we growth in this year. For example, last year we had 100,000 bicycle every day, and this year we have 110,000 bicycles every day. That we do each year, so until the target line. Of course, the next target will come, and we have to be transparent to us and also to the citizens. So I'll come back to the citizens, because that's the one, the key topic, I think. They are like on a control panel. They have the possibility to push this button, or we have the possibility to push this button in a range is not exactly defined, but when it's getting too much or when it's getting too little, what we do, then the citizens can steer it, they can control it, what we do. So in the end, I think that's the thing about mobility, holistic mobility in Zurich. The lessons learned of this, only a few words, is what's the audience, who is the audience, not everyone goes to vote, only people who are 18 or older. What about the kids, for example? Another thing is, when we work like this in every small steps, then is it possible to do a big change or not? That's another question, I don't know. And I think the last thing is when the citizens say yes to a mobility strategy, but they don't know exactly what's the consequence for themselves. First of all, they say yes, but when they know they can't go by car, then maybe they would say no. If in the project, it could be that it's a no, for example, and then we have to take another way. So this strategy is quite persistent, and I think that's overall I can say about mobility strategy and holistic strategy in Zurich.